Back in the Old West, the 1800s wasn't just about saloons and standoffs. It was survival. Today I'm finding out if my gun skills could keep me alive in a time where law was optional. Now I'm sure you're familiar with the Old West, and if so, you're familiar with the topic of quick draws or duels. Quick draws or duels are more of a Hollywood myth than they are a reality, and I've never really done quick draw, but we're gonna see if I have the skills to quick draw against that target about 5 yards away. I'm gonna be doing it from the hip, from this holster that I have, and that target's about 3 yards away. I say most gunfights would happen within a range of 3 to 10 yards. So let's see if I got the skills. And I do not recommend quick drawing with live ammo, but I'm obviously a trained professional. Let's see. I'm not gonna be doing none of that cringy stance like that. I'm just gonna be doing it kind of standing with a little bit of a limp here. All right. Missed that. Two shots on the target. Now I was three shots. I was standing about right there. And we have one shot right here, one shot there, and one shot there. It's not great. This revolver is a Pietro Great Western 2 that I've modified into a race gun. We have deeper notches and leads that allows you to fan it without damaging the notches and leads. And also it's got a lightened hammer. I can do it with my pinky. Inside we have the bolt that comes up and grabs in these notches and leads. There's a groove that goes right down the middle, and there's also a good bit of polishing that goes into this to keep everything running all nice and smooth. Now for my next challenge, just to showcase the iron sights on this, I'm gonna be aiming at the top of that head, right in the middle of that black circle, and I'm gonna be trying to use these iron sights to shoot that black circle, just to see how accurate I could be back in the Old West. I'm not gonna be doing it in a frantic manner, but a timely manner. Close hit. I think we killed him. Hit him right on the side there. Okay, that's better than I thought. Hit him right there twice, I think. It looks like twice. And then right there, and that fourth one, or maybe the third one. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention, but that's a pretty deadly shot right there. Looks like maybe the iron sights on this aren't too bad. And that was only about 20 yards, so it wasn't really that difficult of a shot. To give you a little perspective on shooting this thing, you're outfitted with only iron sights. So your sight picture is gonna look like that. And you got a decent amount of recoil with that 45 long Colt. In the Old West, about the only form of transportation was either horseback or carriage. But we don't have that today. We have the closest thing to a horse, the modern John Deere. I think I was pretty accurate with my old trusty steed, the John Deere. Maybe I would have been okay back in the Old West here. We got one hit right in the neck, center mass, and then off in the, maybe an arm. Oh, we got four. One down here as well. Now theoretically, if we didn't play by the rules, what happened if we spawned in the Old West with a Ruger? Because this is 2025 after all, and this Ruger Blackhawk is in 45 long Colt and 45 ACP. It's the same practices as a single action army, except that this one has a transfer bar instead. So unlike the single action army, you can load 6 instead of 5. You could discharge a single action army by doing that. If you did it hard enough, smack the back of that hammer and it would set off the round because it's a fixed firing pin. But with this transfer bar, I don't know if you can see in there, there's a transfer bar in there that transfers the force from the firing or the hammer into the transfer bar into the firing pin. So it is a little bit safer. And this is about, I'd say this is probably about 2 pounds, as this one is about 1.5 pounds. And this one has a much heavier action on it. You ain't fanning this one. And it does not have the notches and leads are much smaller on this one and not as deep. I spawned into the Old West with both a Ruger Blackhawk and a Pieta Great Western 2. If you had that happen, it might look a little something like this. Very inaccurate, but I think it's pretty cool. I think the bigger question is, since you're watching this video, so far do you think you would be able to survive in the Old West with only a single action army? My verdict so far is that I would probably be dead. I need to sharpen my skills up a little more. The difference between movies or TV on the Old West and modern reality is that if you're shooting a standard full power cartridge of 45 long Colt, which most were chambered in, you are going to have a difficult time fanning, fast drawing, or doing anything of the latter because there is so much recoil involved in that 45 long Colt. You're almost coming up about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock with that recoil, which is gonna throw you off target, make you settle back down before you can find your hammer again and cycle that hammer. Or if you're fanning, you're gonna come up on it, slap the hammer. You might be able to hit your target. If you do, you're going to come up 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, maybe even more because you're only holding it with one hand. You don't have your support hand this time. And that is going to cause you to fumble finding that hammer again. And you're going to either hit the hammer and be off target, or maybe if you're on target, then you have that same problem again after that next shot. Or you're going to miss the hammer completely because your gun is now in a different place in space than it was before that round went off. It's not like movies where it's just, reality is with a full power cartridge is, you might be even in the sky by the time you're done. With Old West firepower, the bad thing about these single action armies is that to unload and reload them, you have to put them on half cock and open that gate. And then you have to find each cartridge, eject them, just like that. And then once you have your new brass, you have to load them in to the empty cylinders through that same gate. And then you're ready to fire again. Damn. Cut me open on my finger there. These things are sharp. Half cock. Eject those rounds. Sometimes you don't have to use the ejector rod. Find my 2 rounds, load them. Man, that was pretty slow. I think the verdict is if I were in the Old West, I'd just open a saloon. I don't think I'd last too long as a gunslinger or anything of that nature. Also, thank you for tuning in. It really means a lot to me. I try to put a little bit of effort into these videos. So if you'd enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like and comment. Maybe subscribe if you're feeling like it. Smoked it.